Week 6 is not done yet. We still got the Monday night game. We got the Buffalo Bills versus the New York Jets. You already got your starting lineups pretty much picked out. But we still got to break down this game for fantasy football so you get a good idea of what could potentially happen tonight. Down below in the comment section, let us know what you need from your players. We're going to bust out the rally caps again. Drop the rally cap emoji, the blue hat emoji from your phone to help somebody out with the rally cap. Let's throw out some good luck on Monday night. But we're going to dig in on the Jets and the Bills. But before we do, you need to click that subscribe button right now, because this is the only fantasy site, the only YouTube channel here breaking down games. Thursday night, Monday night, the matchups on Saturday going into Sunday. We're also going heavy on the waiver wire. Multiple days out the week. We're also helping you set your lineups. Click that button. Stop missing out. But look at this. We got a big time matchup today. Bills and Jets. 41 over under. And the last 3 times they played, and it's been recent, they hit the under. And most of the time, they're not scoring 40 points. So Vegas is saying, hey, look at this. The Jets, slow-paced team. The Bills want to run the football. We're going to run some clock here. That being said, with the clock running in this matchup, there's a chance it's going to be a lower scoring game, less plays ran, less opportunities for fantasy production. But the one thing we can note from the last 3 games is both teams on average surpassed 100 yards rushing, surpassed 33 passing attempts. That being said, they are going to move the ball a little bit, and there's going to be opportunity for fantasy production. It's just going to be concentrated in a few areas. It could blow up if something happens. If one of the defenses bends and breaks, that could potentially happen. That's a good way to hit the over here. The good way to hit the under is it's a slow game. It's a slugfest. They're both running it out. We got turnovers here and there, both sides of the ball. That could potentially happen. We're seeing that on average here. 1.67 for the Bills, 2.33 for the Jets on average in the last 3 games. Because this is a rock'em sock'em divisional rivalry. But we're looking at the quarterbacks here. A lot of you guys are going to start Josh Allen because he's Josh Allen. You drafted him high and you're going to start him. You're going to roll with it. He will get you some rushing production. We're looking at Aaron Rodgers here. And this could be a trap game for both quarterbacks. Not many people really paid up for Aaron Rodgers, so you probably went a different direction on Sunday to avoid this matchup. So more than likely you're not starting Aaron Rodgers, but you are. But if you are, there are some indicators to look at that could allow you to do well in the box score. We will go over them today, but mainly it's in the run game. With Breece Hall and Braelon Allen, the Bills are second in the league when it comes to allowing fantasy points to running backs, and this has been noted among fantasy football content creators for the whole week. They're talking about Breece Hall versus the Bills, Breece Hall versus the Bills, running backs catching passes against the Bills. We know this, and it's good opportunity. This is a good matchup for Breece Hall, and he could smash in this matchup. And if he smashes in this matchup, what if he catches a few balls out in the flat and houses it? Then that could be good for Aaron Rodgers. Also, Braelon Allen on top of that. He's getting a lot of work in the run game. What if he crosses the goal line? I've talked to some people on some start-sit decisions. I said, I can't guarantee it, but Braelon Allen's in a smash matchup. He's a good lottery ticket for week 6 and running back to look at. Breece Hall, if you're going to start him, this would be the game. If you're too scared to start him now, you might as well get rid of him. Braelon Allen, handcuff plus. That plus might be happening in this matchup. There's no certainties, only probabilities, but the probabilities are increasing today. But we're looking at the passing game. Usually the Bills are in slow-paced games, and they're running a lot in the beginning of their matchups, and they've just been in some weird game scripts. Think about the Dolphins game. The Cardinals game week 1 was weird. They've been in some weird matchups here, but wide receivers have been struggling against the Buffalo Bills. They have been slowing them down. That being said, Garrett Wilson should get good target share, but it may not equate to fantasy production. Usually in these matchups, it's not looking good for him, but maybe we catch one in the end zone. Maybe that happens. And you also got Lazard versus Mike Williams. Mike Williams is starting to get more workload. That might equate to a target here and there downfield. But Allen Lazard gets these random money targets, though. He's got 4 touchdowns on the season. This could be a matchup where a guy like him sees a good target here and there in a slow-paced game that allows him to hit. This is an ugly game for the wide receivers. Garrett Wilson, if you're chasing the talent and target share. Allen Lazard, if you want to be a contrarian play. Mike Williams, if you want to be even more contrarian. You also got Gibson, too. He'll flash in some matchups as well. But we're looking at these wide receivers. Ain't the greatest matchup, but it's a divisional game. It could get ugly either way. It could be in the passing game where the Jets have to really push it if something happens. And Garrett Wilson, if I'm going to guess his target, his workload for the day, I would guess about 5 targets, maybe 6 to 7 on the high end. I don't see him pushing for 10. I don't see him getting no less than 4. And if that happens, it's a rough day. It's a rough day. I say around the 5 range. And now we got to see what happens. I say he gets around 5 to 6 targets in this matchup. I don't see him pushing 10. I don't see him getting below 4. That being said, Garrett Wilson will get some work. Allen Lazard gets money targets around the end zone, some of those deeper targets. You're seeing that with the 8 out of 7.1. Same with Mike Williams. One of those 2 wide receivers, in desperation, while things are being locked down, they could see something coming their way. And we're looking at Tyler Conklin for a tight end. He's getting a lot of work. He's getting a lot of opportunities. The Bills are about average when it comes to allowing fantasy points to tight ends. Last 3 weeks, they've been well below league average. But you're looking at the tight ends they went up against. You're looking at those game scripts. Tight ends are going to tight end. At least you know he's running a lot of routes. He's getting targets. He's being consistent with the workload at 15% target shares. Fine for a tight end. That being said, you do have some opportunities this week with Tyler Conklin. Now we're looking at the Bills running backs. And James Cook's questionable. If he's in, he's good to go because they're going to give him a lot of touches and opportunities. If he's out, Ray Davis and Ty Johnson splitting the workload. On a small sample, any one of these 2 running backs can get it. Ty Johnson's got speed to burn. He's running a lot more routes. Ray Davis, good between the tackles. Very potent in pass protection. That being said, I like Ray Davis over a larger sample of games. 1 game sample, especially the first one out, if James Cook is out, more than likely not. More than likely not. More than likely he's in. Sounds like he's going to play. But we're looking at both sides because this is still early that we're looking at this. If that happens, on a short sample first game, any of these 2 running backs can get it. Ray Davis could cross the goal line. That could be him winning on fantasy. What would it look like if Ty Johnson was the lead back in fantasy production? Him catching the ball in the backfield and him scooting on a couple big runs because he's got the explosiveness to do so. I look for James Cook to be back. I look for him to get a lot of touches still. I look for them to ease in Ray Davis and some of those tough touches around the goal line and those short area touches as well. I look for James Cook to get work. I look for them to use these running backs and use them heavy because that's been their MO all season long. And we're looking at these wide receivers. It looks like Khalil Shakir should be back. He is the man in the offense when it comes to wide receivers. Mac Hollins should be noted for a contrarian play. DFS, 16-teamers. He's starting to get more targets. They're deep downfield. Could be their Gabe Davis down the line. Curtis Samuel, from what I've read, he's back. Could get some underneath targets against a tough Jets defense against wide receivers. That being said, if they're moving the ball around and they're trying to stretch it with the reads, going through their progressions, I'm talking Josh Allen here, Curtis Samuel could get a couple extra targets. A couple extra balls could go downfield to Mac Hollins. If Khalil Shakir is out there, he's the guy you want to look at week to week, but this is a tough matchup. Keon Coleman, there's a lot of matchups where he's ghost, and then there's a lot of matchups where he gets that random target and makes that splash play. He's always a splash play option. I never really recommend starting him, but I recommend him as a flyer week to week, but I'm never really too keen on it. Keon Coleman, though, he's going to have some splash plays here and there. It's going to be tougher for him in a slow-paced game. That's projected to be that. And with a lockdown defense going up against him, that's really going to stifle the opportunities for these wide receivers. One of them is going to do something. It may not be too grand for fantasy, but we got to score some touchdowns. If I had to bet, it would be Khalil Shakir if he's healthy. If he's out, I would guess Curtis Samuel will rack up a few targets underneath, and Mac Hollins might be the guy over the top. Looking at these tight ends, and I got both of them. Dalton Kincaid for the work, and if you have Kincaid, you're wanting to start him, he's going to get you a good opportunity share with 19% target share. He's going to get you about 3 to 5 targets in this game. Dawson, Knox, because they're going up against a tough pass defense, could sneak a touchdown here, and that's what you're looking at because you got to go through your reads when you're going against a defense like this. Josh Allen's probably going to pull it down around the goal line and bring in that touchdown. That's more than likely what we're going to see. But again, you Keon Kincaid, you got Knox on the other side. Maybe Knox slips through. There's a one-on-one there. It's advantageous. Allen goes his way. That could potentially happen because you're going up against a stout defense here. So weird things will happen in the passing game, and that's going to make things hard to pinpoint for fantasy football. That's what we're looking at. So if you're playing daily fantasy football and you're making a shit ton of lineups in a big tournament, you probably want a couple shares of Dawson Knox in there as a what-the-hell lineup just in case, because he's going to be cheap and he has that potential to score that touchdown. He's not going to be a big target getter in this matchup, but he is a guy that could sneak something big in a random situation. I'm looking for Dalton Kincaid to be the guy at tight end in this spot, and I'm looking for him to rack up a few targets in this game. I'm not looking at these wide receivers and tight ends as anything big or huge that you must get or must start. But again, it's going to be very ambiguous. One is going to do something, and it's going to be a nightmare, a head-scratching scenario, but it's going to be fun to watch. This is going to be some fun football to look at. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.